First of all, I'd like to thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to testify on these issues. My name is Rabbi Samuel J. Rose. I'm the Associate Rabbi of Congregation Beth Israel in the oldest and most established Jewish community in Austin, Texas. I'm here to oppose HB 562, HB 670, and HJR 32. I'd also come originally to be in opposition to HB 3698, which I realized was taken off earlier today. But for those who don't know, Jews have been convening rabbinic courts in this country for as long as we have been here. Even before the country was established, Jews have had rabbinic courts that have resolved civil disputes, including issues of marriage and divorce, and even overseeing the production of kosher food. If you'd like specific examples of regularly functioning rabbinic courts, you might look at the Beit Din of America, which was founded in 1960. And since its inception over 50 years ago, this Beit Din has served Jewish communities in North America as a forum for obtaining Jewish divorces, confirming Jewish personal status, and adjudicating commercial disputes that stem from marital disagreements and divorces. They are firmly rooted in the principles of halakha, of Jewish law, which in many ways is similar to Sharia law. Yet they are also a forum that interfaces effectively with the American legal system. I'm curious how this bill would affect organizations like this, and in turn infringe upon the rights of Jews to practice their religion freely in this state. On another level, I also would like to raise the concern that had been raised several times before about the question of how Texas courts would handle decisions made by religious courts in Israel. In Israel, marriage and divorce are only under the jurisdiction of religious courts. There is no separation of church and state when it comes to the issue of marital issues. For members of the Jewish community who are American citizens but who wrote their prenuptial agreements and or received their divorce decrees in Israel, I would like to know how their passing of this bill would affect their legal status in Texas. If these bills pass, would Texas courts even be able to consider a Jewish decree or divorce decree that emanated from the state of Israel? Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Russell?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Sheets?
Rabbi, just really quickly, I'm talking about House Bill 562. Is there a specific section of that bill that you're concerned about? Yeah.
So if, for example, halakha, Jewish law, which is held as a foreign law for these purposes, if a matter was brought to court related to a marriage decree or a divorce decree that was somehow deemed unconstitutional by the court, how would that infringe upon my religious belief, my belief to practice my religion in a particular way, with the court ruling that piece of my religious tradition unconstitutional? I think that in and of itself is partly a violation of the First Amendment of the Constitution.
Okay, so if the bill had protections in there to protect rabbinical courts and frankly, any arbitration or any mediation, long as it didn't violate principles of the Constitution, would you be okay with that?
I don't think this does.
Well, no, I'm saying it because we're in a process, and part of the committee process is that we can amend these bills, we can change them, and that's why I'm asking if a provision was added, would that ease some of your concerns?
If a provision was added to protect the rights of religious institutions who held their particular beliefs that were not in violation of the Constitution, but that could in the future be interpreted by a court, by a judge, as unconstitutional, that there would be some protection for the religious, the citizens who are religious, and also of the institutions who are in the authority of these particular religious institutions.
Okay, and you also understand that the First Amendment, I mean, it's probably one of the most sacred amendments we have, along with a couple others, but that one gives us freedom of religion. So
gives us the freedom to exercise religion, yes.
That's right. And so you're not convinced that the First Amendment would protect you if this law was passed?
I'm not convinced that this law agrees with the First Amendment, frankly.
So, I mean, if we had work done on it, because Mr. Leach has even said he's going to be doing a substitute to it, I mean, would you be willing to meet with him and look at copies of that and work with his office?
I'm not a lawyer, but I have lots of lawyer friends. I'm happy to talk to them.
Well, you got several lawyers around here. I'm sure that could be
My
for
wife is
hire
also
too.
one.
All right. Thank you, sir. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you.